Heartwarming moment, millionaire dad discovers amazing truth when a stranger holds his lost child. On a bright Saturday afternoon in suburban Chicago, Ryan Matthews, a self-made millionaire, sat on a bench at the local park, tension coiling around him like a noose. His daughter, Lily, just 6 years old, giggled joyfully while climbing the jungle gym, blissfully unaware of the hustle and bustle that consumed her father. Around them, families basked in the sun, laughter flitting through the air as delicious smells of hot dogs wafted from nearby stalls. It should have been a perfect day, yet Ryan felt a tightening knot in his chest. The pressures of deadlines and meetings loomed large in his mind, overshadowing the simple pleasure of watching his daughter play. "Just a few minutes," he muttered under his breath, glancing at his watch. He could feel the chatter of nearby parents, the sounds of his own life flitting away. Each laugh that Lily shared felt like a taunt, reminders of how little time he had spent with her. As she swung her legs and laughed, he wished he could be truly there, not just a silhouette scrolling through emails in the back of his mind. Suddenly, while Ryan was lost in thought, Lily's laughter turned distant. In the blink of an eye, she slipped away from the jungle gym. Panic pierced through him, and he jumped up, the world around him blurring into a frantic haze of faces and sounds. "Lily!" he shouted, fear crashing into him like a tidal wave. His heart pounded harder with each frantic step. He maneuvered past families gathering for picnics, navigating the places where he spent countless hours absorbed in work. It felt surreal, as if he were running in a nightmare. His chest tightened with every moment that passed without finding her, each second stretching painfully. Just as despair threatened to fully engulf him, he spotted Lily, joyfully swinging high on a swing set. But she wasn't alone. A woman named Mary, a nurse and single mother, hovered nearby, her gentle hands brushing Lily's hair as they shared light-hearted laughter. Relief flooded Ryan, but also anger. "What the hell is going on?" he barked, approaching them. The hurt flashing in Mary's eyes cut deeper than he intended. "You let her wander off?" The sweetness of the moment shattered. Mary straightened, indignation threading through her voice. "I was watching her." Ryan's frustration trembled against a sudden flood of realization. Lily's laughter faded into the background. As the air thickened with tension, the shared history between Ryan and Mary began to surface, a connection from a past neither expected nor wanted to revisit. "Do you even remember who I am?" Mary's voice was steady, yet hurt radiated from her. "You want to protect her from me, but you seem to forget the importance of connection." The enormity of the moment hit him like a freight train. Ryan stood at a crossroads, an awareness that success and wealth were hollow victories when it came at the cost of love and family. He was losing Lily, not just in this moment but gradually over years spent chasing an elusive dream. "I'm sorry," he breathed, urgency filling his mind, wrestling with pride. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the sun began to set, the park glowed in rich hues, casting long shadows that mirrored Ryan's turmoil. Would he let this moment slip away like countless others? Would he, again, prioritize his relentless ambition over the irreplaceable bond with his daughter? He felt like a stranger in his own home, standing there, deciding whether to defend his past or reclaim his future. Ryan took a deep breath, the chaos around him dimming momentarily as he focused on the connection he felt with Mary. The whirlwind of anxiety inside him tangled with something else: vulnerability. It was a feeling he wasn't used to, one he had pushed aside for too long. This confrontation was a wake-up call, a loud alarm ringing in the depths of his mind. He glanced at Lily swinging, her laughter a melody of innocence, and the wave of regret washed over him. He hadn't just missed moments, he had surrendered pieces of himself, and it felt wrong. He cleared his throat, fighting against the bitterness in his own heart. "Lily," he called gently, softer this time, not wanting to frighten her. "Come here, sweetie." She halted her swinging, wide-eyed and curious, before jumping to the ground with an excited bounce. Each of her footsteps felt heavy against Ryan's heart as she scampered over. When she reached him, he knelt down, pulling her into his arms. "Daddy! Did you see me?" she exclaimed, her little hands clutching his shirt. "I did, and you were amazing," he replied, forcefully pushing away the memories of phone calls and meetings that had kept him from being present. "But you scared me when you wandered off. I want to make sure you're always safe, okay?" Lily nodded, her brows furrowing slightly with confusion. "I was just playing, Daddy. Mary was being nice." Ryan looked over at Mary, who stood a few steps away, crossing her arms, her expression unsure. "I didn't mean to upset you," he said, taking a step toward her. "I am sorry for reacting like that." She opened her mouth, hesitation clouding her features. Then, as if taking an unseen breath, she stepped closer. "I can understand why you'd feel that way. She's your world." The words came out in kindness, yet he sensed the edge of vulnerability in her voice too. "And you were watching her," he admitted, feeling the pride and embarrassment mix. "Look, I know my life is hectic, and I've made some pretty big mistakes. You shouldn't have had to deal with my outburst." Mary smiled softly, the tension between them flickering with hope. "We all have our battles, Ryan. You're not alone in this." A moment passed as they shared their burdens without words, the heaviness gradually lifting. Lily intertwined her tiny fingers with both of theirs, a joyful interruption to their serious exchange. "Can we go get ice cream now?" she piped up, eyes shining bright like the summer sun. Ryan chuckled, the weight in his chest easing slightly. "Ice cream sounds perfect. What do you think, Mary?" Mary's gaze softened as she looked at Lily, the joy bubbling over in the girl reminding her that connection, even against the odds, could be timeless. She smiled, the warmth of acceptance dawning over her features. "Sure, why not?" she replied, the tension dissolving as they began walking together. As they headed toward the ice cream stand, Ryan felt a renewed sense of possibility. He was still figuring himself out, but this day was a pivotal moment. Being present for Lily didn't have to be a monumental task, it could start with small steps, little moments like this. And as Mary chatted lightly with Lily, Ryan realized this unplanned detour in his life might just reshape everything if he let it. But just as the sweetness of this change settled in his heart, the sparkle of a distant memory flickered in his mind. What if Lily's laughter hadn't just come from moments like this? What if there was more to her past than he knew? Ryan felt a chill run down his spine as he pondered questions he hadn't dared ask before. What if the past still held secrets he was meant to unravel? As they reached the ice cream stand, uncertainty clung to him like a shadow, urging him to confront the truth. The ice cream stand stood brightly colored, with sprinkles and syrup lining the sides like a celebration waiting to happen. As Ryan watched Lily bounce on her tiny toes, her excitement radiating with every passing second, he felt a warmth fill the air, momentarily chasing away his haunting thoughts. "Okay, sweetie, what flavor do you want?" he asked, kneeling down to meet Lily's sparkling eyes. "Mint chocolate chip," she squealed with glee. "And can I get sprinkles too?" Ryan chuckled, "Of course, you can. But let us ask Mary too." "What are you thinking, Mary?" Mary studied the menu for a moment, her lips curling into a soft smile as she replied, "I think I'll go for the strawberry. It's light and sweet, just like this moment." Her voice held a warmth that made Ryan's heart dance a little. Lily bounced eagerly, speaking without pause, "Daddy. Can we all sit together? You, me, and Mary?" "Absolutely," Ryan said, feeling a swell of pride as he realized how much he loved being in the middle of their joy. They placed their orders, with Ryan getting a scoop of buttery pecan, an old favorite he hadn't indulged in for ages. As he paid, he felt the sweetness of the ice cream mingling with the softening edges of his anxiety. They settled down at a nearby table, Lily wedged snugly between them. With each lick of her ice cream, Lily giggled and chattered about her adventures at the park, her innocent tales washing over Ryan and soothing his worries. For the first time in a long while, he sank fully into the present moment. Mary listened intently, nodding and encouraging Lily with smiles and laughter, and for a fleeting moment, everything seemed right. But then, as if the universe wanted to remind him of nagging thoughts, he caught a glimpse of a woman passing by. Something about her felt familiar, a memory just out of reach. She was looking in their direction, her eyes darting between Ryan and Lily. Suddenly, an unsettling feeling gripped his chest. Had he seen her before? A shadow of recognition danced on the edge of his mind. Daddy? Lily's tiny voice broke through his thoughts. Are you okay? Ryan blinked, pulling himself back into the moment. Yeah, just deep in thought, babe. Enjoying your ice cream? Lily nodded, but he could see her brow furrowing slightly. She didn't miss the shift in his expression. Mary, ever observant, leaned toward him. You seem a bit distracted. Everything all right? He swallowed hard, uncertainty clawing at his insides. I just saw someone I thought I recognized. Mary's smile faltered just a bit, concern lacing through her bright eyes. Do you want to talk about it? Before he could respond, Ryan felt the familiar chill crawl up his spine again. The woman was now closer, hesitating as if she was deciding whether to approach. The vibrant colors of the ice cream stand blurred around him, and in that moment, time stretched thin. Heart racing, Ryan turned to Mary and Lily, the words he needed caught in his throat. He wanted to protect them both from whatever storm was at his heels, yet the truth was swirling closer, edging into the open. Maybe it's nothing, he finally said, feigning a casual tone. But deep down, he knew it was more than that. As the woman moved closer, Ryan's heart pounded against his chest. Who was she? What did she want? He took a deep breath, realizing that this could be the moment everything changed. But as he faced this potential confrontation, he wondered, was he ready to untangle the threads of his past? What if the answers he sought would alter the very fabric of the world he had created for Lily? The weight of unvoiced questions hung in the air, thickening the tension. Would the truth set him free, or would it ensnare him in its grasp? The woman's footsteps echoed louder as she approached, each step sending a ripple of anxiety through Ryan. He felt the weight of Lily's innocent laughter fade as the tension twisted in his gut. What do you mean it's nothing? Mary asked softly, her brow knit with worry. Ryan felt her hand brush against his arm, urging him to anchor himself in the moment with her and Lily. But all Ryan could manage was a strained smile, his eyes glued to the woman who was now just a few feet away. Her hair was dark and wavy, cascading down her shoulders, but it was her eyes intense and filled with familiarity that held him captive. Something inside him churned. Should he recognize her? Was there a reason she was here? Daddy? Lily's voice was soft, like petals falling quietly to the ground. She didn't understand the silence swelling between them. Why does that lady look like she knows you? Ryan swallowed hard, suppressing the whirlwind of thoughts that threatened to break free. He glanced at Mary, who looked like she was ready to support him, no matter what may come. The woman stepped closer, hesitating for a heartbeat. Ryan, her voice was steady yet laced with something he couldn't quite place. It's been a long time. Ryan stiffened. His heart raced like it was trying to escape his chest. Unwelcome memories surged to the forefront of his mind. Who are you? He asked, forcing the words out. Celia. The name hung in the air, a silent thunderstorm brewing beneath a calm facade. It rumbled with the past, the pieces of his life he'd tucked away. I didn't expect to find you this way. I thought. What do you want? He snapped, the words sharper than intended. He couldn't allow her into his world now, not when he had everything he wanted in that moment with Lily and Mary. I just wanted to see you, she said, a tremor creeping into her voice. She took a breath, her eyes darting to Lily before finding Ryan's again. And to meet your daughter. The world around them faded into a blur. All Ryan could see was Celia, standing before him, a ghost from the shadows of his past. Memories surged, chaotic and conflicted, threatening to drown him, laughter shared, dreams of a future built together, a goodbye that had left scars. All those years, he'd thought he could bury it deep, but here it was, surfacing. Lily's small hand nudged his arm. Daddy, is she your friend? She asked, peering up at him with innocent curiosity. Not right now, sweetie, Ryan managed, his voice hoarse. He needed to shield her. His daughter deserved a life untouched by the complications of his past. Celia's expression shifted, a crack forming in her composed demeanor. I didn't come to disrupt your life, Ryan. I need to explain. Explain what? His tone was icy, and he could feel the heat rising in his chest as he struggled with his emotions. It's been years. You made your choices, and I made mine. Mary's eyes flicked between Ryan and Celia, recognizing the weight of the unspoken words. Maybe she began gently, but Ryan shot her a look, one filled with desperation and a plea for her to stay out of this. A moment stretched long and tight, constricting around them like a vice. I need you to listen, Celia insisted, her voice firm. There's more at stake than you realize. What could be more important than the happiness I have right now? Ryan's voice exploded with pent-up tension. Your happiness and Lily, Celia said, stepping closer, the urgency in her voice piercing through the protective armor he had built. Tension hung between them, pregnant with the weight of unasked questions and unresolved feelings. As Celia opened her mouth to speak again, Ryan felt a sudden rush of familiar fear, twisting deep in his stomach. If he let her in, what might he discover? His mind raced, teetering on the edge of a precipice. What truth was about to emerge, and would it destroy the beautiful life he had built? Just then, he caught Lily's curious gaze on Celia, sensing her innocence collapsing against the storm of uncertainty. Daddy? Lily inquired, confusion in her voice. Are we still going to the park? Ryan looked at Celia, questioning everything. Could this be the moment when everything changed? Would his past rip apart the family he cherished? A resolve began to build in his chest. But as he prepared to respond, a voice from behind them called out, urging them toward a deeper revelation. Ryan, you really need to hear this. Ryan felt the ground beneath him shift. The voice, deep and familiar, pulled him from the turmoil of faces and emotions. He turned slowly, biting back the mounting anxiety. Each heartbeat thudded like thunder in his ears, drowning out the bustling park sounds that had felt so vibrant just moments ago. Standing behind him was Eric, an old friend from college, his face creased but warm with concern. This, well, it seems like a big deal. Who is she? Eric gestured at Celia, whose eyes flicked nervously between the two men. Just someone from my past, Ryan stammered, his voice gravelly. The weight of Eric's gaze felt heavy. Ryan, you can't ignore this, Eric cut in, his voice calm yet firm, balancing the tension with an unexpected clarity. What she's saying about Lily matters. Ryan pushed back against the emotion that threatened to spill over, desperate to protect the picture-perfect life he'd crafted. No, it doesn't. We're fine. I'm fine. Are you, though? Eric's brows knitted in concern. This isn't just about you anymore. Lily deserves honesty. Ryan's gaze fell to Lily, whose small face held innocent confusion, innocence he was ready to protect at all costs. But what kind of foundation could he build on secrets? Celia took a trembling step forward. I promise you, Ryan, I didn't mean to disrupt your life. But there is something you need to know about Lily. Her voice faltered, and he watched as she grappled with what she was about to say. His chest tightened. What could you possibly have to say that would matter in this moment? The words tasted bitter as they left his mouth. They felt like the dismissal of the love he felt for Mary and Lily, the life he built brick by fragile brick. But as he scanned Celia's troubled expression, he couldn't shake the feeling that her presence was a crack, a perilous break in the surface of his carefully curated world. Because Mary spoke softly, taking Ryan's arm gently. Maybe there is something here you should hear before deciding anything. Ryan felt torn, straddling the line between two worlds, one filled with laughter, the other shadowed by memories that pulsed like an open wound. It's been years, Celia. What's your angle? I was scared, okay? She clenched her fists, her breathing quickening. I didn't know how to tell you before. But you need to understand, Lily is what? Ryan interjected, the anxiety creeping into his tone. As if on cue, a breeze rustled the branches above, harmonizing with the cries of children playing nearby. Everything felt suspended, just hanging there, waiting for the next beat, the next revelation. Before Celia could answer, the world tilted again. A young girl, no more than 6, with tousled hair and bright blue eyes, dashed into the clearing, smiling wide. Daddy! She shouted, running straight for them. Instinctively, Ryan's heart skipped a beat, a mixture of joy and panic. Ryan? Eric's voice echoed softly, grounding him. What is going on? The girl halted in front of him, breathless yet filled with delight. But that unexpected spark of recognition sent a jolt through Ryan's veins. Whoever this girl was, she looked unmistakably like Lily. The resemblance was uncanny. Who are you? Ryan murmured, his heart racing now for an entirely different reason. The newcomer smiled, her eyes brightening. My name is Emma, she chirped. The unveiling of another child, standing mere feet away, threw the entire conversation into disarray. How tightly woven were their lives? What threads connected Lily and this Emma? Ryan looked from Celia to Mary, from Lily to Emma, feeling everything screech to a halt within him. What secrets lurked just beneath the surface? As the weight of the moment set in, he could only ask, what is happening? And in that charged silence, the true story was waiting to unfold. The moment of truth was closer than he ever imagined. Ryan's mind whirled. The name Emma echoed like a chant in his head, unraveling the tightly wound threads of his reality. He blinked, trying to recall every detail from the past, every connection he might have overlooked. But in that space, the park faded away, the laughter of children turned to distant murmurs as echoes of memories knocked at his consciousness. Where had this girl come from? Emma? His voice came out unsure, wavering like a fragile leaf in the wind. What do you mean, Daddy? The word felt foreign, unsettling, rushing through him like a wave of ice. Mommy said you'd be here today. She said I could find you. She wrung her hands together, excitement juxtaposed against Ryan's dawning dread. Celia stepped forward, her eyes wide and pleading. Ryan, listen to her. This is important. The park spun again. Was this some kind of twisted joke? Time stretched, every second laden with consequence, each one threatening to shatter the veneer of happiness he had fought so hard to maintain. He glanced down at Lily, confusion painting her small features. Lily, honey, can you step back for a moment? Ryan's voice softened, not wanting to frighten her though he feared what was happening. A small whimper escaped Lily's lips as she stepped back. Ryan, torn between his daughter and this sudden revelation, turned back to Emma. How do you know me? Emma clasped her little hands tightly, her blue eyes shining with innocence. Mommy told me all about you. She said you were a good man, my daddy. The weight of those words landed heavy on Ryan's chest. Celia continued, her voice trembling. It's true, Ryan. Emma's mother, she and you, it was years ago, in college. You didn't know, but she had a daughter. And when she thought you didn't want her, she raised Emma alone. Ryan shook his head, every part of him recoiling from the news. I never knew, why didn't anyone tell me? His heart raced towards panic, thoughts spiraling into chaos. A child he had no idea existed stood mere inches away, bringing with her questions he wasn't ready to face. Because she didn't want you to think you had to. Celia paused, emotion catching in her throat. She thought it would be better this way. Better? Ryan's voice pitched higher, frustration boiling beneath his skin. Taking away my choice was better? This isn't just about her. I have Lily to think about now. Celia's mouth opened, but no words came out. Instead, all eyes fell on him: Mary, Eric, Lily, even Emma, who remained oblivious to the storm brewing in her father's heart. Where is your mother? Ryan asked Emma, the question heavy with a force that felt too real yet far away. She's just over there. Emma pointed. She said I should find you and wait. Ryan turned, his heart pounding as if the moment before a great fall. The sight of a woman standing a few trees away, watching with a mixture of hope and trepidation, made his stomach flip. Could it be? Celia, stay with Lily, Ryan ordered, stepping toward the woman who now defined this tangled web of their lives. As he approached, memories flooded him. Days bathed in light, laughter shared between friends, and the haunting shadow of what could have been. With every step, he felt as if he were crossing a bridge he never knew existed. Ryan, the woman's voice, soft and quaking, struck deep within him. I never wanted to hurt you. What would he see in her eyes? Would she reflect the love, the history they shared? Or would they be filled with the weight of lost time and unspoken truths? He took a breath, preparing for whatever storm lay ahead. The answers hung in the balance, waiting to change all of their lives forever. With resolve building in his chest, he stepped closer, ready to confront the truth. But as he did, a sudden shout from behind made his heart drop. Dad, look out! Before he could react, a blur of motion leaped into his path, and time froze once more. What new chaos awaited him now, and would the truth still matter in the face of danger? The world around Ryan moved in slow motion. His heart thundered in his chest as he instinctively stepped toward the blur hurtling toward him. It wasn't just him in danger, it was Emma and Lily too. Dad, watch out! Lily's voice echoed, sharp and urgent. Ryan barely had time to register the situation when the rush of adrenaline kicked in. He lunged forward, arms outstretched, desperate to protect them both. Everything felt surreal, twisted in a way that blurred the lines of reality. The impact jolted him, but it wasn't what he expected. Instead of a harsh collision, he felt the warm embrace of small hands gripping his shirt. Ryan looked down to see Emma, her eyes wide with fear, had thrown herself against him just as Jessica, her mother, rushed forward from the trees behind her. Emma! Jessica shouted with panic, her voice like a cry from the past, shaking him deeper than any collision. As Ryan steadied himself, the breath he hadn't realized he was holding escaped in a rush. Emma stood unharmed, her face dusted with determination but quivering lips betrayed her fear. Behind her, the woman he had once loved approached, knocking the air from his lungs once again. Why didn't you tell me? Ryan's voice came out strained. It was both a demand and a plea wrapped in disbelief. Jessica's features pleaded for understanding. I thought it was best. I didn't know how you would react best for who. His voice cracked, every word sharper now. You kept my daughter from me in my life, in our lives. What could possibly justify that? She opened her mouth, then closed it slowly as if grappling with the reality of it all. Mommy! Emma broke in, her voice innocent yet filled with anxiety as she looked between them. I don't want to be in trouble. I just wanted to find him. A crushing wave of pity engulfed Ryan. How did this little girl bear such a heavy burden? Emma's eyes brimmed with unshed tears, and suddenly he felt all the anger slip away. Ryan knelt to Emma's height, his heart swelling yet breaking simultaneously. You did nothing wrong, Emma. You were brave. I'm so glad you found me. Turning back to Jessica, the startled questioning gaze was gone, replaced with the weight of years unshared, of love distilled into fleeting whispers. You know, we were once kids ourselves, dreaming about the future, he said softly, but the years felt lighter than moments. And now? She whispered, seemingly searching for the right words. Now, we have a chance, right? There's still time. Behind them, the joyful laughter of Lily as she engaged with a nearby group of children broke the tension. The sounds of the park resumed, washing over them like sunlight breaking through clouds. Are you sure? Jessica asked, her voice trembling as she stepped closer. Maybe it's not just about us anymore. Ryan gestured gently to Emma, who was watching with wide eyes, hope woven into her small features. It's all of us now, and I want to try. At that moment, with the world settling back into its rhythm, he felt a tether fragile yet unbreakable form between them. But before he could voice this unfamiliar hope, a sudden shriek rent the air. It was not a child's laughter but a sound of distress. Ryan's breath caught, a sickness of dread creeping into his bones. Where's Lily? They all turned frantically. The anchor of that moment shattered. In the sea of carefree children, his daughter's laughter had vanished, replaced with confusion. Lily. His heart raced in a wild crescendo as they searched desperately through the throng, the laughter now turning to muffled chaos. Would he risk losing another chance to embrace his daughter? The answer hung in the air, and he felt a gut-wrenching fear settle in his chest. Ryan's voice was raw, piercing through the air as he called for Lily. Every instinct screamed at him to move faster, to weave through the crowd that had once brought nothing but joy. Now it felt like a barrier, every child's face a painful reminder of what he could lose. Lily! He yelled again, desperation thick in his throat. Jessica, still recovering from the shock of their encounter, joined him. There was no time to linger on their unresolved feelings. In that moment, everything felt like a ticking clock, counting down to something he didn't want to face. Stay close to Emma, Ryan ordered, urgency edging his words. Emma nodded, her small form trembling slightly as she clung to her mother's leg, large eyes looking at Ryan for reassurance. The chaos around him swirled like a storm. Parents' voices rose in concern, calling for their own children, but none of them had what Ryan felt twisting in his gut. A worry so deep it stole the air from his lungs. Each step felt like walking through thick mud. He scanned faces, hoping for a glimpse of Lily's bright smile. The other kids around her looked blissfully unaware, playing happily, while his heart thudded painfully in his chest. Over there! Jessica shouted suddenly, pointing toward a small group of kids near the jungle gym. Ryan's eyes zeroed in on the scene. There, a girl with pigtails sat at the edge of the gravel, her hands clasped tightly, an expression of confusion painting her face. Lily! He surged forward, dread and relief battling within him. A wave of emotion crashed over him as he reached her, crouching down. Daddy! Lily cried, her relief bursting forth like a balloon popping. She surged forward, her small arms wrapping around his neck, squeezing him tight. Ryan's heart flooded with warmth and comfort, yet fear still coiled in the pit of his stomach. What happened? I thought I lost you, he whispered, panic breaking the soft edges of his voice. I got scared. She admitted, pulling back slightly to look into his eyes, her own filled with stars of worry. I saw this big dog, and I wanted to see it. The tension that had wound tightly within him unraveled slightly at her innocent revelation. The chaos faded, becoming background noise. But before relief could fully settle in, Ryan noticed another shadow moving at the edge of the playground, a man, tall and broad-shouldered, locking eyes with him. The stranger looked concerned but hesitant. Ryan's protective instincts kicked in once again. "Who are you?" he called, standing protectively in front of Lily. The man took a step forward, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "I just saw her alone. I wanted to make sure she was okay," he said, his voice steady and sincere. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any trouble." Ryan's heart raced anew, but the man's demeanor started to calm him. If anyone could help, it was him. "Thank you for looking out for her." He glanced around, still acutely aware of Jessica and Emma watching closely. Then, as if sensing the shift, the stranger continued, "You're lucky to have such a brave daughter." She didn't panic at all. Ryan's eyes flicked to Lily, who wore a proud smile, even now. "We're all a little scared sometimes," he said softly, squatting down to her level, his heart swelling with love. "But we find our way back, right?" She nodded, the weight of earlier fears still lingering, but a spark of confidence shining through. "We should go back to Emma now," Ryan suggested, looking over his shoulder at Jessica. Lily's face scrunched, her brows knitting together in confusion. "But I want to stay. Daddy." Her plea was straightforward, guileless. "Just for a bit longer," he said gently, wanting to buy them more time in this strange universe they shared. And as moments stretched into an awkward silence, Ryan finally met Jessica's gaze. It felt charged, heavy with unspoken understanding. Just when Ryan thought the storm had passed, he noticed the crowd around them shift. Somewhere in the distance, sirens blared, cutting through the playground's laughter. "Did you hear that?" he asked, a chill creeping down his spine. Jessica's eyes widened, concern etched on her features. "It sounds close." In that instant, an unshakable feeling settled in. Something was about to change, and they were right in the eye of the storm. "Stay here," he instructed, his voice firm, as the urgency returned, propelling him to make sense of it all. Would they face another threat, or would this be just another brush with fate that would change their lives forever? Ryan's heart thumped like a drum against his ribs as he turned back to the gathering crowd. The distant sirens grew louder, their wailing tearing through the haziness of relief that had just settled in his chest. He glanced at Lily, who was still holding onto his leg, oblivious to the tension thrumming around them. "Emma needs us," he said, trying to sound calm. He began to pull Lily away gently, but she held fast. "Daddy, please," she whimpered, her voice quivering with the edge of panic. "I want to play." The weight of her small hand wrapped around his leg threatened to pull him under. Ryan crouched down again, meeting her gaze. "I know, sweetheart. We all want to play. But it's not safe right now. We need to make sure everyone is okay." Lily's face fell, and he felt a pang of guilt. But before he could say anything else, the stranger, a man with an air of calm confidence, interrupted their moment. "I can help," he said, glancing at both Jessica and Emma, who had moved closer, concern mirrored across their faces. "Why don't you take her back to the car? I'll stay here and keep an eye on things until you get back." Ryan hesitated, scanning the man's expression to ensure he truly meant well. There was something about him, the way he held himself, that spoke of integrity. "Are you sure?" Ryan asked, feeling the push and pull of instinct and gratitude. "Absolutely," the man replied, a reassuring smile breaking through. "If she needs to stay, I'll make sure she stays safe. Just go." The urgency in the air tangled with Ryan's indecision. Every fiber of his being screamed to cling to Lily, yet he saw the sense in the man's offer. "All right," Ryan finally replied, and his heart sank as he watched the slight resignation pool in Lily's eyes. He kissed the top of her head. "You stay with this nice man, okay? I will be right back, I promise." Lily nodded, still not entirely convinced. As Jessica gently led Emma away, Ryan urged himself to walk slowly, to keep the panic at bay. His mind raced. What if something was wrong? What if this was a mistake? But he had to trust that instinct, had to keep his family safe, whatever it took. As they made their way towards the exit, the sirens harmonized with the swelling tension in the crowd. He felt like the ground was shifting beneath him, making it impossible to find stability. "Where do you think everyone is rushing to?" Jessica asked, attempting to ease the weight in the air. "I don't know," Ryan replied. He turned his gaze to the entrance of the playground. People were frantically pushing through, worry creeping into expressions all around them. It felt like something big was about to happen, but what? Jessica's grip on Emma tightened. "Do you think we should go back?" "I don't like this, it doesn't feel right." Before Ryan could respond, another loud siren echoed, closer this time, and chaos flared. An emergency vehicle pulled up to the curb, lights flashing. His heart dropped. Something's happening. They exchanged looks, the urgency spurring them forward. But just as they reached the parking lot, a voice called out, gripping Ryan's attention. "Hey! You!" It was the man from the playground. He was suddenly racing towards them, his expression frantic. "What's happening?" Ryan demanded, his fears surfacing again. The man stopped in front of them, breathless but serious. "You need to come back right now. There's something you need to know about your daughter." Ryan's breath hitched as panic gripped his throat. What could it be? "What do you mean?" he asked, the urgency clawing at his insides. "Please, just come. It's important." Ryan's heart raced faster than he thought possible. With one look back at Jessica and Emma, he nodded. They all turned back toward the playground, uncertainty washing over him anew. What truth awaited them there? As Ryan, Jessica, and Emma rushed back toward the playground, a knot twisted tighter in Ryan's stomach. The chaos of earlier faded to a distant hum, his mind preoccupied with fears that pricked at him like thorns. Each hurried step echoed in his ears, and the laughter of children now sounded like an ominous melody. "What do you mean something happened to my daughter?" Ryan demanded, redoubling his pace, urgency pushing him forward. "It's not just about her," the man insisted, his eyes darting toward the playground. "There are things you need to understand, memories you don't yet know about." A cold sweat prickled at Ryan's skin. Something wasn't right, and dread coiled deep within him. He couldn't fathom the possibilities, but the anxiety he felt was palpable, wrapping around his heart like a vice. As they reached the playground again, the scene was different. The carefree laughter transformed into a muffled murmur, tension palpable in the air. Families stood in clusters, their expressions flickering between worry and confusion, forming a cocoon around a gathering in the center. "Where's Lily?" Ryan croaked, fear bubbling to the surface. An unsettling silence lay thick, and the man gestured for them to follow. They pushed through the curious onlookers, tension riding within Ryan like a storm ready to break. At the heart of it all, his eyes finally caught the sight of Lily, standing amidst a circle of adults, her little face painted with apprehension. His heart lurched. "Lily!" he shouted, breaking through everything that stood between them. She looked up, the fear in her wide eyes reflecting back at him. "Daddy!" Her voice quivered as she took a step back, uncertainty brewing in her small form. "I'm right here," he reassured her, kneeling to bridge the gap, wishing to envelop her in his arms. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Before she could answer, a woman stepped forward. Ryan recognized her as a member of the park staff who had observed their earlier chaos. "Mr. Matthews," she began, her voice steady but solemn, "we need to discuss what's happening." "What's happening?" Ryan felt a surge of emotions swirl in his chest as adrenaline kicked in, driving him to his limits. The woman hesitated, her gaze flicking momentarily to Celia, waiting uncertainly in the background. "While you were away, something happened to your daughter. Someone approached her." "What do you mean, someone?" Ryan felt his heart race again. "Lily, baby, please tell me you're all right." The rush of protection rose in him, instinctively anchoring him to his daughter. Lily stood innocently before him, concern tugging at her lips as she nodded. "I was just going to pet a puppy, but the lady said I was too far from you." Her voice was small, but there was a glint of bravery in her eyes. The woman continued. "A woman claimed she knew her, said she needs to talk to her about something important. We intercepted her before anything could happen, but well, she might know more about your family than you realize." Ryan's heart thrummed loudly in his chest, confusion rolling in. "What do you mean, my family?" As if drawn by the threads of destiny, Celia stepped forward then, meeting Ryan's wide-eyed gaze with a mixture of trepidation and vulnerability. "Ryan, you need to understand there may be things connected to Lily, things I didn't know until today, myself." Ryan felt the floor drop beneath him. It was like everything he'd been fighting against was crashing together. Past and present collided. "Lily," he whispered, cupping her face in his hands and directing all the warmth and reassurance he could offer, "I need you to stay close." This small gesture was enough to tether him back to the present. He turned to Celia. "What do you mean? What's this truth about my daughter?" "I never knew," she started before being cut off by a voice at the edge of the crowd. "Excuse me?" Another woman, distinct and assertive, pushed her way through, and Lily's eyes lit up in immediate recognition. "Mommy! You're here!" Ryan's heart sank. Out of nowhere, Lily's mother appeared, and time itself seemed to halt as reality rushed forward with the weight of secrets bursting to the surface. "Mom?" Lily's innocent voice called as she reached for Jessica's hand. "Is everything okay?" Jessica looked stunned, one hand on her chest, breathlessly trying to catch up with the unfolding drama. "Sweetheart Ryan," Celia urged urgently, grabbing his attention. "You need to listen to both of them. They're connected. We all are." Her voice trembled, but there was fire behind her words. As the pieces began to fit together, Ryan's heart broke open with emotions he couldn't contain. Everything he'd built, each joyful moment with Lily and Mary, each lingering dream, what would they mean if the past was filled with lost truths? Jessica stepped forward, holding an expression of tentative compassion. "I didn't want you to find out like this, Ryan, but the truth is Lily was conceived at a time when your lives were tangled up." Suddenly, the world spun with a revelation so massive that it threatened to swallow him whole. Memories flashed through his mind, the laughter, the love shared, and each choice made through the years. What do you mean?" Ryan's heart raced, the heaviness making everything feel surreal, as if he were in a dream. "Your daughter, she is, Ryan." A bolt rang through the clearing from the stranger, waving a hand to capture attention. "Lily is not just your daughter. There's a connection that goes deeper." Just then, Lily tugged at Ryan's leg, sensing the gravity around them. "Daddy, I'm scared," she whispered. His world came crashing around him, and in the chaos, clarity blossomed. What didn't make sense began to piece together, like puzzle pieces sliding into place. Could he confront the truth without ripping apart the family he fought so hard to build? In that moment, amidst mothers and secrets, he saw the faces of those he loved, Lily, Mary, and now Emma, learning to navigate the threads of their tangled lives. "I need to protect you all," he finally declared, voice steady as it filled the silence. "And whatever secrets the past holds, we will face them together." The path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but as he stood among the people he cared for, determination settled in his heart. They could rewrite their story if he was brave enough to confront it head-on. As they all looked on, the chaos around settled, the laughter returned, the sirens softened. The moment held a promise of transformation, and the sun shone bright above them, heralding a new beginning for their intertwined fates. This was the moment his fight for family truly began, and as they faced the truth together, Ryan realized he'd never be alone again. And just as hope lit their paths, a voice called out again, a distant echo that carried with it the weight of their entwined destinies. It was time to embrace the future, time to forge a bond strong enough to withstand whatever truths lay ahead. As the episode unfolded, the screen faded to black, revealing a final truth to the viewers that this journey was only the beginning. And you need to subscribe now. Don't miss the next chapter of this transformational story. You won't want to miss a single moment. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and get these stories into more hearts. Comment your thoughts and reactions to this stunning revelation. What would you do if you were in Ryan's shoes? Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible journey of family, love, and truth unfold. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.